Hi, I'm Brendan. I'm with Alex from Navigate World Whisky. Today we're getting into Clairin, or alternative pronunciation.
Oh, thanks, Brendan.
Right, we pass that to
the lovely French way of saying it, Clairin, I believe.
Yes.
But I think for us native English speakers, we're quite happy with Clairin, right?
Yeah, I won't embarrass myself. I'll stick with Clairin. So, Clairin, Haitian rum, Haitian white rum, often described as the mezcal of the rum world. Really interesting story. We're going to get into that. This amazing terroir-driven spirit. Check it out. Okay, Clairin, incredible. I guess, dare I say, it's been discovered by some of the talent at La Maison Velia, Daniele Biondi and Luca Gugano and the like. They'd probably recoil at that word discovery, but probably a better way of describing it is elevating and bringing to light these amazing white rums from Haiti.
Absolutely. I mean, relatively undiscovered, relatively unspoken about, but it's been around for a couple of hundred years.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a really basic intro into it, more in layman's terms, so we can all understand it slightly. We've got a Clairin Communal, which is just what we refer to as a white Clairin. No aging in the barrel, hence no colour. There was also this version that La Maison de Whisky did in their French Connections catalogue this last year, and that is a aged communal. Hence it's got a little bit of colour on. We have the Navigator single cask, Navigator 2021, which is 41 months. Got a little bit of colour on because it's been an ex-Evan Williams cask. And then quite an interesting thing to point of discussion is here we've got Haitian rum. It is a Clairin, but once it gets to a certain age, they no longer really refer to it as Clairin like on this label or this.
Yeah, Clairin meaning clear. So I suppose Clairin is essentially mostly drunk as a clear white spirit, and I suppose what you're getting at is at a certain age, it's classified as a rum or Haitian
Absolutely.
rum.
I think the idea behind it is it's slightly losing its classic Clairin style that we would get from the sugarcane,
becoming more barrel oriented or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hence we have a Haitian rum. We are going to park this aside, and I think park
that one for now.
Aside, and we're going to have a little taste up of the communal.
Great. While you pour that, so going back to Clairin, how it's made. So Haiti, I mean, incredible. It's something like more than 500 distilleries around the country. Many of them have been making, there you go, tropical, fruity, estery. Many of them have been making white rum this traditional way for hundreds of years. And that traditional way is literally using the incredible diversity of sugarcane they have in Haiti, harvesting from the surrounding fields, literally donkey-drawn sugarcane, hand-crushed, wild fermented.
So you're going essentially through the Clairin protocol.
Yes.
And there is a protocol. It's important that they establish that protocol.
Yes.
And I think we're going to deep dive in the next few episodes on that Clairin protocol as well, and really discover what makes Clairin. Daniel Biondi, one of the best go-to guys to actually explore that with.
Yeah. Yeah, and then post crush, it's actually wild fermented with the surrounding yeast and bacteria. So they talk about terroir and spirits these days. It's a bit of a hot subject. It's hard to imagine a spirit or any food or drink that is more terroir-driven than Clairin. It's all about literally the humans, the animals, the
going
plants.
To be a lot of fun unpacking that.
The microflora in that site. Incredible. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But knows that. Have you smelt a rum like this?
No, not quite like this.
Characteristics possibly that you pick up from some of the white Jamaicans maybe?
Yeah, I suppose Jamaican high ester rum, it derives its ester profile in a similar method in terms of a wild fermentation, but here you got
something
fresh
completely else going on.
It is totally unique to this specific site. very tropical,
Yeah,
yellow.
I mean, I've spent quite a bit of time in sugarcane land. When that sugarcane is freshly cut, freshly harvested, I get quite a bit of the nose of what's going on in here. Important to remember that this is not really, it wasn't necessarily bottled for every big whiskey drinker or aged rum drinker to sip and enjoy like a old fine spirit. And it's going to be interesting hearing what you have to say is whether you enjoy sipping this.
Absolutely, I do. I mean, I think once you get your mind around these estuary, spirit-driven rums, it's hard to turn away. But this one in particular is quite elegant, quite tropical, quite
43% makes
43%.
it a bit more sippable. I mean, it's just a brilliant product for a mixologist to work with, because it's got such personality. It's going to shine through on whatever they use it for.
Clairin's one of those sort of hot trending spirits, and I think it's bursting into the mixology scene in New York and other big cities in Europe, and for good reason. You know, you're going to make a much more nuanced, complex daiquiri or any sort of cocktail you can think of using this white rum compared with, say, a regular mass-produced white rum.
And I mean, we've had some nice spirits wet our lips before. If we're enjoying it, I think that says a lot for this young little communal.
You want to pour us an aged version?
Right, so moving on to a bit of colour. So we should hopefully be experiencing something closer to some of the more aged rums that we're used to drinking. With a bit more complexity. 41 months gives it a bit of time in the barrel. Evan Williams barrel, which makes it quite interesting, because we know what Evan Williams is all about. Some brilliant bourbon that comes.
Yeah, and quite light
out of the distillery
in colour. It's not sort of, just looking at it, I would suggest that it's not sort of overrun by the barrel yet. You know, it's kind of going to have some nuance.
Absolutely.
But still be essentially Clairin.
It's only 41 months. And it is in a ex-whiskey cask, as they refer to it. So I think potentially could have taken on a lot of colour with a lot of age. But, you know, this is quite old for a Clairin, actually.
It's
41
on the borderline.
Months. It's on the borderline, right at the edge. And I think it's got a nice balance here between sort of pushing the boundaries on still getting that full Clairin personality versus sort of becoming what they call a rum.
More sweetness, more richness, as you might expect from the cask.
Much more notes, much more.
This is a cask strength, 56.8%, but it's not hot. You know, it's drinkable. I don't need to add water to this at all. Well, there you go. Clairin, something utterly unique to Haiti and its artisanal producers. And the classification system they've put in is going to protect those producers, which is exciting to me. You can't have big brands coming in and riding this trendy spirit and sort of destroying those primary producers. They get to benefit in that success. So I really respect what Daniela and Luca have done in terms of protecting these producers this way and elevating it. And it's a spirit that certainly deserves its place in the world of spirits. Well, I hope that opens the door on Clairin for consumers. We're going to walk through it and unpack in a lot more detail some of these incredible, beautifully branded expressions, each utterly unique, by the way, as you'd expect, the way Clairin's produced, in future episodes. Until then, keep your spirits up.